Not at all surprisingly, a huge and stunning crowd of 105,000 turning up at the famous Bernabeu Stadium for the local derby. Real Madrid against Atletico. Real in the famous white shirts, flying forward, but a touch of controversy about that decision, a penalty kick, as Rocha was considered fouling Raul. Look at the incensed players. And perhaps justification here. The player himself and his momentum took him forward, but the penalty converted by Michel. 20 minutes gone, and in a very tight game up till then. That was the breakthrough. With Raul looking very good on the left. Watch Zamorano in the middle of the box. There he was. The defense wasn't watching him, and Atletico were 2 down. 25 minutes gone, and the Chilean internationalist, with that impeccable timing of his, straight through the goalkeeper. Fight back time by Atletico. Was there a mistake by Buyo? He seemed to hesitate with the defense, and Kosecki nipped in to make it 2-1. And in the first 28 minutes, we had 3 goals, enthralling this vast crowd. Now watch the pass of Laudrup here. Watch the outside of the right foot. Isn't that glorious? So also was a finish by Raul. 36 minutes, 3-1. And as always in this tremendous cauldron and a conflict between the 2 local rivals, exciting play and great finishing. Ball played to the outside this time, and Zamorano sweeping in to make it 4-1. 2 goals from the Chilean, and this half wasn't finished yet. That ball was brought up there. Sanchez bringing down Kiko, and that's driven into the back of the net. Atletico fighting back. Sanchez and Kiko in net. Now watch this here. The referee judged that to be a foul. Produced the second yellow card, and off he had to go, as indicated there by Buyo. So a controversial ending to that game. The final score, Real 4, Atletico Madrid. Real in 3rd place now. La Coruña on the light blue, instantly on attack. With the ball played in there by Aldana. Put forward to Villarroya. And the midfield player almost scoring the first goal early on in the game. Now watch this shot by Codro. It was to be the first of many misses he had in the match. The ball just hit beyond Luis Perez coming out of the far post. And that ball again by Codro headed down to the near post. And Canales getting right behind it. The break had to come. Good one by Aldana. And another miss though. This time by the Brazilian, Bebeto. Not on the best of his form. Almost a replica this time, but watch this shot by Fran. The Deportivo La Coruña captain with his favorite foot lashing it into the back of the net. And Deportivo striving to get to the top of the Spanish league, led by the conviction of the captain. 41 minutes gone, they were 1 up. Should have gone further up, as Aldana went right in on the goalkeeper from that cross by Donato, but straight at the goalkeeper. Into the second half. Good crossing by Fran, header by Bebeto, just squeaking past. The game in a kind of seesawing process, but in sweeping for the second goal, the inevitable burst by the Bulgarian Kostadinov. A pass from Aldana in midfield. 2-0 after 64 minutes. A superb defense-splitting pass. And Kostadinov, as he's done so often with people chasing after him, keeps his nerve, head down, ball in the back of the net. And a shot by the substitute there, Di Pedro, trying to get something out of Real Sociedad. And here he was again, having been brought on just at the start of the second half. 2 shots, the nearest they had come in the second half. Then a lovely flighted ball there by Aldana, brought down by Bebeto. A difficult angle, but a good save by Canales. And watch this break here. Goalkeeper right out. Great chance for Codro. And then came Jusic. And the foreign element in Spanish football saving their bacon there. A neat turn by the other substitute, Luis Garcia, and a ball on the outside of the foot. Now watch this great shot there by Codro. He had missed some, he didn't miss that one. 85 minutes, it was 2-1. Now the goalkeeper probably very badly covered there, leaving that left-hand side space. Back came the reply though. Out on this side, Fran, little ball drifting across, and the easiest of touches for Aldana. 2 minutes from the end of the game, and that sealed it. Late goals in the game, they counted, and Deportivo back on the top of the Spanish league. A disappointing game in many ways in terms of the score sheet, but I think it was a game of miraculous misses. First of all, we had this move away to the outside as Logroñez were really put under pressure, and a neat little touch there as Ochetorina, the goalkeeper, flicking it over the bar from Geri. And then on the attack there, Juarena putting it forward. Markovic putting it inside to Matuta as the pressure on the Zaragoza defense was taken up. But as I said, it was all a case of missed chances. This ball taken here by Arafia, out wide there to Matuta, and the ball taken off the line. Miraculous save by Cedrun in goal. 15,000 crowd in the game enjoying it. But perhaps the home crowd worried about these attacks there and how that was not put in there by Jelly. Nobody will ever know. Beautifully swept ball by Solano on the left. And there a decision, they thought it was a penalty kick. But the referee had seen the linesman on the far side. No penalty, offside. There they were pointing to the linesman. Now the attack here as Higuera got that forward. And still bunched defences. As that ball was swept behind for a corner kick. The defender there that time was Segura. And on the breakaway, Warina just putting it past. And just one of the many misses, astonishing that scoreline. Bettors in green and white, wanting to flourish in the first division after 2 seasons in the lower division. And this, they wanted a result to lift them up, getting them up from the lower sections of the league. And a presentation to Aquino for being the best player last season. But there, Aquino was to have something of a mixed fortune. The penalty kick there, a mix-up between Yaro and Jaime. Aquino took the kick, well saved there. And Betis thwarted, and Zubizarreta, of all people, playing that ball almost like a basketball player, and in from the back came Olias. 45 minutes, and that was the opening goal. The goalkeeper almost like a corkscrew there, couldn't keep his balance. There's Mijatovic to Alvaro, and a bad miss there The ball flying about. And really on the attack as Fernando took a perfect pass from Eloy with 6 minutes remaining. The pressure had told, he chipped underneath it. And there went the final whistle, one each, and a result that lifts them in, Betis, into 5th place. Albacete against Compostela. It took 45 minutes for the first goal to come as Christensen swept it to Abadia. And little man, short of growth on the top of the hair, just slid in at the back. Watch him locking away on the far side of the penalty area. And that was a neatly judged pass. He could hardly miss, but others do from that position. The equaliser coming in 70 minutes as Andonov drove that off the post, and then he came for the return, swept it into the net, and that was 1-1. And we'd already seen how Christensen had been very effective in this game, laying on the first goal, and there he was, scoring the second for Compostela. Flicked, beautifully flicked up there by Fablano and rocketed away. And hesitancy in the defence, typically Christensen picking it up. And I think the Loudrops would have been proud of that finish. 3-1, 1 minute of the game remaining. A terrible lapse of concentration there by Alberto, and Christensen, long way to travel, digging under it like a Mashi Niblick shot. And there the referee brought the game to an end. Compostela the winners by 3-1. A tale of foreigners in this match. Atletico Bilbao against Espanyol, as the ball put through to Branko Branovic and touching it past the goalkeeper. Lovely little go that. Espanyol starting this game well. A fortuitous back heeler, one has to say, but he got it back again and accepted that well. 4 minutes. And Espanyol were 1 up. And then the equaliser. 12 minutes later, Carranca rattling that in. Neatly put to him. Watch the defensive wall breaking up there. That's precisely the reason for that little ploy, laying it to the side. Espanyol, though, always looking the dangerous team. And a breakaway by Larden on the far side, and look at the spaces that were left. And carefully taking his time, Francisco turning one way then the other, made it 2-1. Just watch this. Feints with the left. The defender is hopelessly stranded, but it took an excellent finish there. While I was talking about foreigners, they started it, Branko Branovic. And then there was that other man, you know the name well, Radochoyu. Watch him running diagonally, that's what he's very good at. And we saw him do that in the World Cup so often. The final goal of the game, 3-1 for Espanyol from the Romanian. We return to Spain, and Valladolid playing against Sevilla. Sevilla in the red here, and making the early running in this game, where Kadoncha, you watch him making this mistake, and out it pops to Suka. That shot by Moya coming in here, and like all good strikers, he's in there for the little bits and pieces. 32 minutes gone, they were 1 up. And then a superb free kick by the same man, Suka, made it 2-0, 4 minutes from half-time. And still more to come. The substitute, Esteban's going in. And there was a touch, I think, by Ferreras. He was credited with an own goal, although one can hardly be sure, even from that slow-motion replay. And 1 minute later, bang! The last goal of the game, 2 minutes from time, by Moya. A confident and total triumph by Seville. 4 goals to 0, the final score. Sporting Gijon against Racing Santander in the white. There's an early touch there by Muniz. Lying on the ground, stretching out rather blatantly. The penalty kick awarded. Just watch it again. Now, could he have got his arm out of the road as the ball breaks down there? I think that was absolutely accidental. The referee didn't think so. And then it went from Setien. 32 minutes, 1-0. A rather harsh award against Sporting Gijon. But penalty kick takers are hardly full of charity on these occasions. And in that tremendous bungle in defence, Popov popped up, swept it in, 12 minutes from half-time. Watch the Fankel the defenders get in. And the alert touch of Popov there, taking it on the drop away from the goalkeeper. That was the second goal. Third one coming in the second half. Cross there from Popov to Radchenko. 61 minutes. And it was well beyond Sporting Gijon. Santander 3 up. Bit of a fight back though. This ball centered in. And Pablo getting the little touch as he came in. Morales touching it forward. Something at that stage, it looked like a consolation goal. But we were at the beginning of a mini fight back. As this ball is put in there and put up into the air, with the attack on here by Sporting Gijon. It looked as if the penalty would have been awarded there. The pressure going on now, and again a handling offence, and this time, it has to be said, looked to be deliberate. Watch the shot coming in here. Pablo hammering it in, and that looked like deliberate handling. And a brilliant save. Morales missing out on that. Beautifully touched over. And as that ball was hammered in, there was a handling again, and this time it was to be the red card. Torrecilla. A game ending in a controversial moment. Deliberate handling. The penalty awarded. Moran scored, and they were in a hurry to get that out of the net and away. Sadly for them, it came too late. The final score was 3-2. Celta in blue against Tenerife in white. The first attack here, Ezequiel Castillo on the left, and watch Vita coming in with a header. Simple goal, neatly executed. 30 minutes gone, and Tenerife were 1 up. The game did seesaw, and look at this ball coming way up here. Ojeda comes out. To my mind, there was a foul on him. The referee didn't seem to think so, and Gil swept it home for the equaliser. That happened exactly a minute after the first goal had been scored by Victor. Good way to come back. In the second half, a great run. Bonelli coming in from the outside, kept his head, swept it in. Good ball put through to him. Not the easiest of chances, given the pressure on him from the back. The goalkeeper narrowing the angle, but he got it through. Lots of action in front of goal. A great run by Chano here. The goalkeeper doing brilliantly to keep that out. And then saving eventually. Chano with a marvellous shot. And there, a little poke through there by Alejo to make it 2-2. And time running out, could this have been the fight back of the weekend? Twice they were down Celta, twice they had come back. 6 minutes from the end, the corner kick, untidily dealt with, and in steps Salinas. 3-2. And I think he was quite pleased with that. Shocking defending. Watch the goalkeeper and the defender coming to it. And Salinas not noted as a striker coming in at the back. 3-2 was the final score, and it did turn out to be the fight back of the weekend. Barcelona riding high after that marvellous performance against Manchester United, taking on Oviedo at home. Barcelona blessed with riches, but the rumours are now that they're after international striker Emilio Butragueño. Why do they want Butragueño with such riches as Stoichkov and Romario? Stoichkov early on in the action. The ball played by Jordi Cruyff, in by Ferrer. Touched by Romario. Stoichkov, we saw on the right there. There he was on the left. And in the early stages of the game, the man showing his versatility, going from both angles. Now Romario, with those little swivel of the hips, it gives him so much space. And the pressure really on Oviedo. But the finishing was rather poor, and a good run here by Armando, bringing out a save by Busquets. And every now and again, Oviedo were breaking forward in this match. Here was Carlos, brought down. The kind of situation that would be realised at the other end. Shot by Cristobal, or by Prosinecki rather, and beautifully touched round by Busquets. The former Yugoslavian international getting right across to that. Used to play for Real Madrid. And that was a free kick. Now they have various options. It could be Coman. And of course, it could be this man. Well now, how often I've touched the heights in describing this man and his free kicks. We saw it in the World Cup. The warning was there. Give him a position like this, and it's almost like a penalty kick to Barcelona. Fight by there by Prosinecki, but Barcelona were now beginning to get right out of sight. The ball beautifully put through by Jordi Cruyff, and a great shot. Stoichkov really in the action. Marvellous performance. And every now and again, just a little touch of carelessness in defence. That was the substitute. Suarez tried to hook that round as Busquets had come a little bit far off his line. Now Stoichkov again put forward on the left, reminiscent of that miss he had against Manchester United. And there was Koeman off the underside of the bar, and it remains something of a miracle that the score at this stage was only 1-0. And there was Busquets pushing that away. And nearby Barcelona, that was put in the back of the net but didn't count. And Stoichkov with his usual dialogue with officialdom after this had been chopped off. And the other international, Georgie Hadji, really taken out of that. Looked to be an elbow in there. No penalty given. The final score, 1-0. And there
Let's start our weekly roundup of the Dutch League with last Tuesday's clash between Roda, the surprise team of the season, in the yellow shirts and black shorts, and PSV. Well, big things were expected of PSV this season, but they have struggled after making an impressive start. The key to their season was their European defeat by 20 Enschede and their 4-1 home defeat by Ajax. Well, here they've had to make some changes, and they've changed management as well. Schreiber's coming in to replace Art de Mos, and they were always vulnerable despite having flair players up front. Roda, on the other hand, are one of 3 teams in Holland who are still unbeaten. This game had a goalless first 45 minutes, and it wasn't until 54 minutes before the deadlock was broken. A great run down on the right-hand side here, and watch for Huberts' dummy in the centre, and a finish from Maurice Graf. Stanley Menzel will be hardly happy with his contribution in this match, but Graf opening the scoring for Roda after 54 minutes. They would have gone to take the points here, and it was to be enough to take over from Ajax temporarily at the top of the Dutch League. The contribution there of Huberts mustn't be ignored. A great dummy. Menzel will be oh so disappointed. And he'll be even more so by what happened just 8 minutes later. An innocuous looking challenge resulting in a free kick. Now for Roda, there were many options. Van der Leur was in fact the player to take it. Menzo was worrying about the wall, but he was to be far more concerned about his handling as Van der Leur's shot somehow crept in. Oh, Stanley Menzo from the PSV supporters, and it was hardly the face of a happy goalkeeper, as Van der Leur may have struck the free kick okay, but it was nothing spectacular, and Menzo was left groping. 2-0 Roda, and PSV in big trouble. Well, the scoring was completed late on in the match. Again, embarrassment for Menzo, as substitute Dirksen finished it off. PSV, 3 defeats in 4 matches. That's hardly championship winning material, and they'll certainly be very disappointed by this one. Roda continue on their good ways, and they went on to take a point despite missing a penalty in their weekend match against Heerenveen. So Roda still unbeaten, beating PSV 3-0. Ajax very much on course for a place in the last stage of the European Champions Cup. New victory here would take them back to the top of the Dutch League, and they certainly played some thoroughly attractive football in what was a tricky little trip to Willem II. Peter van Vossem, who struck a new lease of life, including a superb goal against PSV in their recent away game, was instrumental in so much of the attacking play down the left-hand side, and he's got his place back, as again Louis van Gaal decided to sweep the changes and could afford the luxury of leaving out the leading scorer in Holland, Patrick Kluivert. He was on the bench along with Kanu, who's been recalled to the Nigerian squad for the trip to England, where they play at Wembley next Wednesday. Well, Ajax are still unbeaten in the Dutch League, and they've played some great football. Van Vossem here drifting inside and opening the scoring with a wonderful touch after 13 minutes. Memories of the goal he got in Eindhoven just a few weeks ago with that one. He curled it precisely past Roland Janssen, and to be quite honest, it was no more than Ajax deserved. Leo Melis was well beaten, and certainly Van Vossem knew exactly where that was going. Ajax had the dream start. Well, Jari Litmanen has been playing in a more deep role this season behind the front two, but he was to get on the score sheet himself with a goal that was reminiscent of so many he got last season on the goal line. The poacher supreme. It's hardly been Litmanen's way of scoring in this year's campaign. In fact, that's only his 3rd league goal of the season. Ajax now in complete control, 18 minutes gone and 2-0. the pace of Finidi. It was tremendous to see. Litmanen, who got goal side of Arno Hofstadter, had a simple task. But despite the 2-0 scoreline, it was Willem II who were to offer most of the rest of the attacking play in the next 20 minutes. And in fact, Edwin van der Sar, a lot seriously tested, must have been concerned at the amount of space sometimes the Willem II players got. Their man of the match was without doubt Ernie Stewart, and once again the American here was instrumental in so many of the moves but couldn't finish things off. Jari Litmanen loves to break from midfield, and here setting up an excellent opportunity for Finidi George. In the end, the Nigerian should have done so much better with that one. Into the second half now, and Ajax effectively put the game beyond Willem II. 3 minutes into the second period. The player brought down was De Boer. The man making the foul was Dave Smits. Certainly John Blankenstein, the experienced referee, in no doubt. When you see it again, it might have been a harsh decision. De Boer may have fallen, but Smits, his tackle wasn't as rough as it seemed. So Finidi to step up and take the penalty. Roland Janssen having a fair record from spots, saved again, but the Nigerian kept his cool to finish it off at the second attempt. Ajax 3 goals in front, 4 minutes played in the second half. See the penalty again, and all credit to Janssen for the initial save, but the Nigerian really was cool in the finish, first time, and he didn't even move. Then back came Willem II to try and restore some pride. Ernie Stewart here involved in so much of it, and lashing in a great effort, only the bar saving Edwin van der Sar. Stewart, who was one of the star players of the USA in the World Cup finals, big favourite with the fans here in Tilburg, and a rasping shot hitting the top of the crossbar. One always felt that Willem II deserved a goal, and when it came, it was an excellent effort. Watch out here for Van Gastel. There's no doubt about it, Jean-Paul Van Gastel can strike a dead ball, and Frank Rijkaard here in his final season for Ajax would have been proud with this strike. Willem II had to wait until 59 minutes, but what a goal it was. In off the post, a strike of real quality from Jean-Paul Van Gastel. Willem II 1, Ajax 3, well worth another look. A rasping drive in off the post, 1-3. But Ajax always felt that they had complete control, and Finidi here showing his excellent pace and playing the ball across to virtually decide the encounter, as Clarence Seedorf had his shot tipped over superbly by Janssen. A typical Ajax move, and Seedorf a real star for the future. In the end though, the patience of Edgar Davids did pay off, and he ran through, and you can hardly hide his emotion. Great goal for Davids to get 10 minutes from time, and Ajax now had the scoring complete. Well, Davids showed that he was determined to keep going. The defender lost out, and he knew exactly where he was placing it. And he could and perhaps should have had another. Just a few seconds later, again he got past Hofstadter. This time though, he was inches from being denied, only the post saving him. Davids on a powerful run here. He had Janssen beaten. He set his target. It took a deflection which surely saved it. The post saved Willem II. But Louis van Gaal can be satisfied with another Ajax away performance. On came Kanu, watch out for him. He might play at Wembley next week. The 2 Nigerians in the squad, both likely to be involved in some way or another. Ajax though march on. They win again away from home by 4-1. What a fantastic month it's been for Feyenoord, starting with a win against Utrecht, then 2 further league wins and 2-legged victory over Werder Bremen in the Cup Winners' Cup. A massive crowd here, over 35,000, and only 1 goal for them to see. Peter Bosz playing a delightful ball into Arnold Skolten, and although John Kalsat should have done better, the crowd was sent home happy. Feyenoord on a roll. Wim van Hanegem showed to the Dutch television that he'd been made an offer by Alan Sugar at Tottenham for the job in London. He turned it down, saying he's happy with Feyenoord. Stanley Menzo would have been hoping for better things as he and PSV came to Utrecht in an explosive start. PSV took an early lead in the 5th chance of the match inside 5 minutes. It was a 7th goal of the season for young Ronaldo. Jan-Willem van Eyde made a brilliant double save inside 40 seconds. He couldn't hold Arthur Newman's shot, and Ronaldo at the 3rd attempt put the ball home into the empty net. All credit to Utrecht for bouncing back, and they got an equaliser 9 minutes from half-time. The work here not to be denied by Ferdy Verklau, and it was Eric Schmidt who came running in to finish things off. Verklau getting on the end of this pass, putting it across. Schmidt past Menzo, 1-1, and Utrecht, who made such a great start to the season, back in the match. They lost this fixture 4-0 last year, having conceded an early goal, and I'm sure that when Ronaldo grabbed that early goal, there were memories that could be the same. And certainly PSV played some outstanding attacking football, but this game will be marred by an incident that wasn't spotted by the referee. Well, there were two, in fact. Firstly, Menzo claiming that wasn't a penalty, giving us the smile as well. And I think he's quite right when you see it again, that referees have certainly given penalties for much less as Fokker Boy went trotting down. Then came the most controversial incident in Holland of the weekend. Watch this from Edwin Gorta. The referee gives nothing, but this is totally out of order. There is no grounds at all for going up to any player. This time Bjorn van der Dolen, the substitute, the victim here. Edwin Gorta certain to be foul, fined by the Dutch Federation for that disgraceful moment of madness. Well, PSV went on to win the game, but it needed a goal from Luke Nilles 6 minutes from time to do so. He kept his nerve, he rounded Jan-Willem van Eyde and gave PSV a very important win. Well, Nilles had some spectacular efforts denied by the woodwork and by the goalkeeping of Jan-Willem van Eyde, but now he kept his nerve. This time it was again a fine little through ball, and Nilles made no mistake. Fine win for PSV, hardly deserved, but they all count. In the dark blue had to thank the goalkeeping horror error of the week from Edwin Zottermeier to give them a lead after 37 minutes. Jules Ellerman will hardly get an easier opportunity all season. The 20 who have an important couple of weeks coming up with a away trip to Utrecht on Sunday and then home to Feyenoord in the postponed clash in a fortnight's time. They must have been delighted for Zottermeier's rush of blood. Well, they made the game safe with this quickly taken free kick a minute after the break. This time Bosveld driving in, another rasping shot past Zottermeier to give 20 the points in the Veronica Stadium. If they're to be serious challengers for the championship, they need to win at places like Volendam. Well, that confirmation of the other results. Belgium Cup this weekend, and there's some of the upsets in the weekend's results in Germany. The weekend's action in England saw Manchester.
French football, and into Provence we go. Little Martigues against Paris Saint-Germain, and sadly this game was delayed for 15 minutes because of crowd trouble on the terracings. When it got going, we had a beautiful goal there by Bouquet in 19 minutes after having been set up by Tolo and the centre by Bertisson. Well away from the goalkeeper, Bernard Lamar. And so Martigues, having come up as a promoted side, playing very well. There was no Rai, no Weir in the side, but great shots by Mboma there. And Paris Saint-Germain could so easily have been 2 goals down, as that was very badly missed. Colo getting the chance. Then Le Guen with a little touch through to the edge of the penalty area. Good saving though by the goalkeeper, Duran. Paris Saint-Germain have a lot on their plate, of course. Many people thinking they might be saving themselves for the Champions League. And bad luck again there. That was Numa getting his head to it. But a ball out to Collitter there, swept across into the penalty area. And at the second attempt, Mboma, 5 minutes before half-time, squeaking it past the goalkeeper. Into the second half, there was to be no more scoring in this game. And on came Weir eventually to fire in that shot. Still no scoring, 1-1. Montpellier, 20 years old as a club this season and trying their best to attain their first home win of the season. And a beautiful shot there, hammered out and then put over the line. There was a little touch there by Carrez. 3 minutes into the second half, Montpellier, their first home win of the season. Rennes in red against Nice in blue. Both teams were in the second division last season. The penalty kick there as Gourvenet came up to take it very smartly. 9 minutes gone, it was 1-0. Then into the second half, a missed penalty by Sanjak, and very fortunate to survive another appeal for a penalty there as Sanjak himself went in to try and put it away. And given a little life there was a ball swept in towards Grassi. And Hans in blue, though, for Nice, just crept in there and got the equaliser. 21 minutes gone. Both teams fighting, of course, hoping that they can stay up. And the red card given to Gioria. The game could have broken anyway at all. The penalty given, even though there was an enormous disturbance there in the penalty area. The penalty awarded and slotted in. Grassi the scorer. And even Imon the coach got the red card. He was sent to the stand. And in that breakaway, dreadful error by the goalkeeper, and in stepped Andre. Only 12 minutes of the game remaining, and just pushed it easily over. 3-1 to Rennes. And there's the opportunity of Caveglia of Le Havre to go to the French goal-scoring list right at the top. A move through there as that was touched in by Caveglia. Good start by Brando, then to Lagrange, on to Caveglia. The goalkeeper coming out, and 22 minutes gone, pushing it away. That was his 10th goal of the season. And the penalty kick awarded as that ball was swept over by Lagrange, and surprise, surprise, they gave it to Caveglia. His second goal of the night, his 11th of the season. He's France's top scorer. Saint-Etienne against Caen. The opening goal coming when Kamara brought a ball down there, nobody covering him, and in 15 minutes Saint-Etienne had gone one up. Beautiful ball by Potillon. Into the second half, bad defending. Moravcik breaking away here, turning round, and a brilliant solo goal by the foreigner. 2-0 the final score. Bastia looking for the fourth away win of the French First Division, and putting on the pressure right at the start. As the ball swept across, it goes free, and Casanova came and thrust it in. 32 minutes gone, Bastia were one up. The goals in the second half weren't to come until very late on in the game. That was a scrambled effort by Drobniak. 73 minutes gone, and Bastia were 2 up. A little bit of a fight back in the second half. The ball swept about by Hernandez, fell to the feet of Voss, and 9 minutes of the game remaining. And that was 2-1. But look at the gap in that defense, opening the way for Drobnjak. Pulled down, penalty awarded. They couldn't believe it, but he stepped up, took it, and the final score was 3-1. Their 4th away win in a row. Strasbourg went into this game very proudly holding on to the fact that they hadn't been beaten at home all season. And Gard scoring that goal in the 41st minute gave them an excellent start. They had been pressing up till then. Goel put it right to the boot of Gard, who swept it home. 1-0. Into the second half. Can, of course, knocked out in Europe, and that ball hammered in by Kozniku in the 63rd minute, drifting round the outside of the defenders and then sending it diagonally the other way. And then, surprise, surprise, as a miss fell, up came Vieira from a cross by Durix. And that was the second and last goal of the match. 2-1 the final score. Nantes in yellow against Metz. Plenty of goals in his game. And the run by Wiedek, who ran all of 30 yards to get that ball, put it in again from the rebound. Kept his head well over the ball and swept it in. Zitelli setting up the Croix right across to Coet. And pushed just beyond the goalkeeper. That was the equaliser. And then a deflection there. They couldn't believe it. Ball coming right off. And a little turn there, they headed in, just swept away. The pressure still on. Up it went. With a crowded penalty area. And not playing with great determination. Makelele putting it out, the shot in, another little deflection. Seredzum getting the touch there. And 3-1 the final score. Bordeaux against Auxerre. Bordeaux had been beaten by Katowice. Auxerre had beaten Besiktas in the Winners' Cup, so they had entirely different European fortunes going into this game. But it was a foreigner who was to make the difference in this match to start off with Degari sending over that perfect cross, and the Brazilian Valder coming in, touching it in, his 7th goal of the season. 18 minutes gone, and a positive start to the game by Bordeaux. Little bit of hesitation there, giving an opportunity for Lalande to come up, get his head to it. Dreadful error there by Ouad, who has a reputation this season of making dreadful blunders. The equaliser in 38 minutes. The goalkeeper and the defender, Fischer, nowhere near it. So a little lifeline given to Auxerre. Into the second half, though. Positive play by Dutuel, Lizarazu, and then touched in by Fournier. 65 minutes, that was 2-1. Again, a little gap appearing in defence. The sort of thing they exploited 2 minutes from the end. Lizarazu. The penalty taken so simply by him. Final score, Bordeaux 3, Auxerre 1. First division. 25.
And so to Austria in the big game of the weekend there. Casino Salzburg against Austria Vienna. Just one goal in this one. Kosikan here doing all the hard work, and Leo Leiner with the finish. Casino Salzburg 1, Austria Vienna 0 in the big game of the weekend, and Casino doing so well in the Champions League as well. There was a real chance they could claim one of those last 8 places. 1-0 win against Austria Vienna. And so to the games with all the goals between Admira Wacker and Bornstera. And Malber opening the scoring here for the team that had a fantastic win against Caen in Europe. Goal coming in front of a sparse crowd of only 800. Well, the lead didn't last long, as 7 goals in total in this match. And the equaliser from Westerlo. An open goal really for him, and he didn't make any mistake. Admira Wacker found themselves in front again, this time from the narrow angle. A precise finish. Schreiner slipping it into an unguarded net. Well, the first half still hadn't ended when again a free-flowing move and a brilliant finish. Sure, he meant to cross, but there was nothing wrong with that. The goalkeeper clearly deceived by the flight of the ball, and it was 3-1. Leochenko did well to make it 4-1, and Admira Wacker on their way to another handsome win. Westlire, who'd scored the first goal, added his second to give some consolation and bring the score back to 4-2. But it was a comfortable win for Admira Wacker. So that the Stadium of Light in Lisbon, a match Benfica against Firenze. This stadium by no means full, in fact 20,000 only the crowd for this one, and they were in for a rather disappointing Benfica performance. None of the real flair and the panache that we'd seen from them in some of the Champions League matches this season, particularly against Anderlecht. They are having a fine season again, and they were expecting to run in the goals against Firenze. Well, Isaias is a playmaker who will have such an important role in this side the longer the season goes on. And here he was drilling one in and really testing Peter Ruffai, the keeper of Firenze. Well, Ruffai had to be at his best, and he'll be another one featured in that friendly international next week. And here he is again, producing a fantastic save. Again, it was Isaias involved and setting up from Stanik, driving it in. Ruffai one-handed, brilliant. Well, Benfica had the majority of the play in this first half, as you would expect, and even players like Moser coming up, but it was Isaias who had all the chances. Without Claudio Caniggia, they don't seem to have the same firepower up front. So at half-time in the Stadium of Light, it was scoreless. Then came the shot. 53 minutes and a simple finish from Toze. Only 3 minutes earlier, he'd picked up a yellow card. Now his Jekyll and Hyde performance had been completely turned round after he received the through ball. The error came from Helder, and Toze rather nutmegged Belgium international Michel Prodom. Serge Duarte had done well, but Toze made no mistake. But Benfica left it late to come back into this game, with frustration certainly aplenty amongst those who had come out on what had turned out to be a rain-swept weekend in Portugal. And one thing's for sure, certain, Artur Jorge, recently back and had been dismayed by his side's performance. Halcinho here picking up a second yellow card for the foul on Nelo, and then came the dramatic finish. Plenty of action inside the penalty area. Clearance hardly matched from Piazzo, and the vital substitution, Paulo Pilar, coming on. Well, certainly a save to remember from Prudo. It will be talked about in the bars of Lisbon, this one, throughout the week. He was wrong-footed, the header came in, and it was only just. Then Isaias, the strike and the brilliant finish. With 2 minutes from time, the equaliser. Benfica had saved themselves. No wonder Isaias was delighted. It looked like a salvage point after 88 minutes. He really struck this superbly, left-footed, fully 25 yards, and really giving Rufai little chance. A frenetic finish and a dramatic one as well, as Benfica not only salvaged 1 point, but had the opportunity to win the game. When you see it again, it was such a clumsy challenge. And Toze, who'd done so well, had given the opportunity to Abel Xavier. Benfica then winning the game with 2 goals in the last 2 minutes by 2-1. Sporting in their green and white hoop shirts and black shorts would expect to have picked up all the points against Joanio da Madeira, and certainly they made a comfortable start in a match in which the 3,500 only expected one result. But there have been occasions this season when there have been rather frustration shown in the side, and Juskowiak here has been a player who's had an excellent start to the season. 19 minutes gone, and he opened the scoring in what could have then developed into a rout. But that's certainly not how the game developed, even though there was a major suspicion of offside. Juskowiak making no mistake. Well, the remainder of the half was dominated by Sporting. Marco Aurelio going close here with a header. But then came the equaliser. Beto with it bang on half time. It was even too quick for the Portuguese cameramen. And so to Porto against Vitória de Guimarães. And once again the weather in Porto so changeable, starting amid heavy rain, and then out came the sunshine. Well, it was a first half that won't be best remembered even by the most ardent Porto supporter, as they had to wait until 2 minutes after the break to break down a very stubborn Vitória de Guimarães. Rui Barros getting the opening goal. The pitch clearly the worst for wear, but they had the opportunity after this foul by Vitor Silva to increase the lead. Aloisio slamming it home. Now they had the security of a 2-goal lead, and with only 5 minutes remaining, the points seem safe. And that's certainly the way it turned out, as Uran emphatically made it 3 as he drilled it past Zikalos in stoppage time. Porto 3, Vittorio de Guimarães 0. And with Sporting dropping a vital point, it was a good win for Porto. Well, there's confirmation stage of the J-League, and 2 matches featured this week, including Verdi Kawasaki against Shimizu. And let's pick up the action here with Shimizu scoring a quite magnificent goal to take the lead here after 4 minutes. Dalmina giving the visitors the lead with a crisp shot that really gave Fujikawa little hope. A crowd here of over 50,000 in the Tokyo National Stadium, stunned here as the Green of Verdi found themselves a goal behind. But the lead was to only last for 3 minutes as Ishikawa drifted inside and finished decisively past Senada. The home supporters quite clearly had something to celebrate. It was a wonderful goal, so neat. And 9 minutes later, aided by deflection, it was Verdi Kawasaki who took the lead. This time, Ramos was far too strong, and Senada wasn't helped by the deflection. Quality ball in by Kitazawa, the finish by Ramos. 11 minutes from half-time, the game was virtually put beyond Shimizu. Again, good play from the right-hand side. No cover as Benitino continued on the left. And the finish from an acute angle, masterful. Nobody gave him any hope from there, only inches into the second half now, and just 6 minutes played, and a gap opened and was decisively taken by Kitazawa. A slight suspicion of offside, overruled clearly as the same player in an almost carbon copy move after the free kick was floated into the penalty area by Hasi Karatani. And Kitazawa on the end of it superbly. 5-1 for Verdi. And so to Jubilo against Marinos. Jubilo Iwata in the blue here on the end of some great early pressure and finding themselves a goal behind. Or at least that's what they thought. The goal ruled out. Raymond Diaz convinced he'd opened the scoring here for Yoko Marinos, but quite clearly the flag stayed down. Chances, there were plenty. Off the line, heroic clearances, even more. And this was a first half that really had the 14,500 in the Jubilo Iwata Stadium on their feet. Great defending there from Yashida. And then came the moment of madness from former 20-player Paus. It was to see him see red. The Dutchman couldn't believe it. A rare sending off, but when you see it again, a decision was unanimous. And so Jubilo found themselves a goal behind when Raymond Diaz at last struck gold. When you see the replay of this, it's a classic strike. Fine cross. And a brilliant finish. Diaz emphatically. 6 minutes later, it was Visconti who was to keep his nerve and drive home, giving Ozaki Very little chance in the Jubilo goal. 2-0 for Yokana Marinos, and they appeared on their way. One thing about Jubilo Iwata is they're a side who've battled all season. Then came the moment when Schillaci felt he should have scored, but Fujita finished off. The only problem for the home side was that time was radically against them, and they just couldn't come through with their effort. And Schillaci on the losing side and failing to find the net. And so summing up the 18th round